Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another exciting episode of T3PO Live. I am VashSky, your host of today's ceremonies, and with me, an amazing set of people that I want to go ahead and recognize real fast. But before I actually do, I want to go ahead and thank you all for tuning in to T3PO Live. I know some people, they say, Vash, it's my favorite show of the week. Well, I very much appreciate that, and hopefully we can keep remaining your favorite show. We've got a lot of stories to talk about, including an influencer who took over Disneyland again. Yes, I know. It's kind of crazy how that keeps happening right here. And it's the same procedure there. Big influencer comes, live streams their experience, and chaos ensues. We'll get into that and much more here on this program right here. We've also got a preview to FanFest Nights 2026. We've got Fast and the Furious coaster information. That's pretty cool. And maybe a Beehive, a Little Mermaid, and Trash Can Gate. I don't know if we can get to all of those, but we're going to at least try. And try we will with one of the best crews on the internet right now. It is the one, the only Lou Wasserman's Ghost, Erica from Erica and Raft, and MJ joining us here from where she is. I don't want to dox her, so let's go ahead and bring him up on the screen. Hello there.
From parts unknown, as they used to say on the wrestling shows, right?
That's you see, Lou. I need your stage experience right there, desperately. Wow. Actually, how are you all doing today?
Well, I once wrote a lyric for a song about a grand dame of the theater, and you talk about stage experience. The lyric was, people say the theater's in your blood. I say there must be some confusion because my blood is in the theater, enough for a transfusion. So there you go.
Well, there you go right there. That is fun times indeed. Well, and it looks like, I believe, we just got the redirect right there from the Pro Show. Hello there. Everybody doing okay? Water's warm? Come on in. Man, we had a huge audience for the Pro Show today, which was very cool. And I do apologize to everybody that I wasn't on there more. I was actually in the back preparing for this show and cooking up some fresh B-roll for that show. Hopefully you like what I have here. Okay, so we have covered this before in the past. I don't know what it is. I guess influencers go down to Disneyland and completely take over the park. Now, we covered that actually with Faye's Rug there and his female counterpart there. I can't remember what her name is off the top of my head right now, but you remember that footage, right, Lou? Right, Erica? Where you had these two influencers come off of like a Big Thunder Mountain Railroad and cause a huge commotion because they were live streaming their experience walking through the park that day.
That girl reminds me, is there a union for influencers? Is there a requirement that they have really awful eye makeup? Because it seems like they all do.
Oh, that's terrible, Lou. Terrible.
Nobody here, but that girl, my God.
Well,
anyway.
So this phenomenon happens where you have influencers, they live stream their experiences in the parks, and then everybody sees that live stream and go, hey, I'm in the park. I want to go ahead and see that person. And then they overwhelm and swarm around that person, creating quite the fiasco. Well, we had this same incident happen, yesterday with a little small-time streamer, he's getting by, called ishowspeed. No, he's actually one of the biggest in our space right here. Let me go ahead and put this up on screen and see if we can go ahead and play at least a little bit of that. Hopefully we don't get copyright. I mean, I guess it's possible. But you can see right here, we have ishowspeed, and he is huge. And I mean, so
he's got what,
massive.
Like 8 or 10 bodyguards with him or something?
Yes.
I mean, why don't those guys just put security on their chests and they'll look like the bouncers at a bad concert? My God.
This is his entourage, and it is quite large because, I mean, the people watching this stream, because I was actually watching it for a period of time, very late last night, actually, catching up and going through the footage and all of that, and I think he had like 45,000 people watching alone on YouTube. That is a massive amount. And again, this was an 11-hour stream. So I don't know what he had in terms of his numbers. Well, people were actually, well, I guess, yeah, we have a counter right there. So there you go. That's the counter. Anyway, it was huge. It was absolutely massive. And so he comes in here and enjoys his day at Disneyland. And look, I have no problem with streamers or influencers or celebrities enjoying their day in the parks. That's not what this is about. It's when you live stream that things could kind of get just a little bit chaotic. And sure enough, they did. Let's see if we can actually get some audio on this. I want to just make sure that no other audio is playing. I don't think it is. Just make sure here. Okay, yep, we are good. So let's go ahead and play this.
Oh, that's the...
I love you!
Yeah! Throw it on the right.
This is a huge influencer. And I mean, absolutely massive.
It is. He's a Disney people.
Song is called Kitten on the Keys, by the way.
Oh.
Yes. See, I know these obscure things. Actually, I have a piano roll of that song from my player piano.
He doesn't even know they're called the Dapper Dans. He just says, "Oh, there goes the Disney
Thank you,
people."
Danny. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Andres. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Jimmy.
He does thank them by name, which is quite nice.
That is
I know
great.
all of them. The bang.
This is where it gets a little like, okay, if this was anybody else, they'd be dressed down immediately. Here you go. So he sees an omnibus off in the distance, traveling alongside him.
What bus is that? That's the Disney bus?
Well, how
And he
what
walks
was his first
alongside him.
clue
Nah, we
that
ain't
it's a
hopping
Disney bus?
on. We're walking.
Guy's a master of the obvious, ain't he?
He runs ahead of his security and then high fives that, which is something you can't do. Right, and the driver's like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, back away here. Anyway, this goes on. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and, try to get parts and pieces of it. But guys, why does this keep happening? Why does Disney keep letting these huge influencers, and I mean massive influencers, live stream their experiences in the parks like this when it causes such a commotion, such a stir?
How much did we pay today to get into this place called Disneyland?
On a day like this, so that was what, yesterday? That would have been Monday. That you're probably looking at this point, probably like 129. I would think.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe somebody will check into that.
When I got there and I opened my phone and I looked for the various attractions and things I could do and enjoy, was this guy on the list? I mean, sorry, for God's sakes, man.
Yeah. I think it's a lot here.
I'm just disgusted by the whole phenomenon. I really am. And the idea that people are in the park on their phones watching this guy and realizing, oh, gee, he's here. What happened there? They had to turn around and go back, or?
Yeah, they had to turn around and go back. I'm not sure why, actually. I know he had a number of different cast members. He had a number of different security that were actually leading him through here. And yes, there's no commotion yet, but don't worry, there will be in this footage right here. I can assure you of that. MJ, have you seen this phenomenon at all? Have you experienced something like this? I know we've seen celebrities at the parks before, but when they live stream their experiences, I think you're setting yourself up for problems. Please go ahead.
I've never seen it like that. They usually come in a little bit with more discretion, should I say. This guy has a parade with him, and he's very arrogant. He's not, just humble yourself. Okay, you're an influencer. You have a gazillion followers. Good for you. God bless you. Good, go about your day. Enjoy your day, but don't break the rules of the park. And you're not supposed to be, causing this much of a distraction. The guests are paying. I just Googled it. It could be anywhere from like 104 to 206 around this time of the year, Ghost. So people are not paying to go to Disneyland to see this guy. They're going to have,
I hope not.
He needs to be a little bit more discreet. In Walt Disney World, you see them like that, but not like this. This is like, all eyes on me. I'm the attention, don't look at the castle, look at me, very disrespectful, extremely, my opinion.
Well, he probably thinks this song is about him, don't he?
Erica, your reaction to all this. We now have, in the course of a couple of months, I suppose, a range of influencers who have live streamed their experiences while going through the parks and creating a bit of a commotion or stir around them as they travel through it. Please, your thoughts.
Yeah, you would think that Disney would kind of get a clue as to where the consumer sits in terms of how and where they consume entertainment. This here is pretty much on display.
Yeah, for sure, indeed.
Are those two cast members following him around? They work for Disneyland. Am I seeing this correctly? The people in the yellow vests are like walking.
Yeah, those are security.
Those are security for Disney. Mm-hmm.
He's got his crew, and then he's got the security of Disneyland escorting him around. Is he on a private tour? Like, what's going on? I'm wondering.
Yes, I do believe he's been assigned a tour guide for this, and I thought there were Disney personnel in kind of plain clothes, but with name tags behind him as well. So you have, I would say, probably 6 cast members assigned right here, right now.
So did he arrange this in advance, or did they just, oops, we got somebody, quick, get some gang together and we'll do something?
I'm guessing he arranged it in advance, but
there's the thing. See, it's like when you go to public places and there's a sign that says you should be aware that we're filming here today and you might be in the background, and by being here you're giving up your privacy or your whatever. I don't see any of that here. Do you?
No.
But they knew. You see what I'm saying? It's like And this poor little kid is being exploited by this guy too. I tell you,
Well, the mother's allowing it because if she didn't really, she could have turned her stroller into a little canopy and it would have been, she allowed it.
Yeah,
she wants it.
that's right.
Yeah.
Bad mothering too. So anyway, my opinion.
Let's go ahead and go forward here because he goes on Indiana Jones Adventure. They take a while to actually get locked
He
in.
actually goes on a ride. He's not the ride.
Yeah, he's not the ride. He's also okay. So it's pretty dark in this scene because they asked him specifically to shut off any external lights for the production of the live stream right there, and then they get all the way through and they eventually dispatch and everything like that. It takes a while. So, in terms of your dispatch times, I feel bad for the cast members there because it's completely blown out the window when you have an entourage this large. But as soon as they get on and they get through the actual attraction itself, then the lights come on. So it's like anybody else who actually sees their ride vehicle while in the ride, well, of course, they're going to see them lit up in some artificial fashion. So breaking the rules there again. And then let's go ahead and go forward here because it took so long to actually get on the attraction. You know what happens next. You only have one point of entrance and egress from this actual ride from Indiana Jones Adventure. And so when he actually makes it back to Adventureland, where people are watching this on the live stream, well, you have a bunch of people crowding around in Adventureland.
Yeah.
Right,
So
which is
I go on the ride next week, and I take my phone out and I turn the bright light on, and they say, "Well, you can't do that," and I say, "Well, the other guy did."
Correct.
Yes, exactly. And so let's see if we can get past here. And here we go. So we already have people trying to get him on the exit of the attraction here. We have multiple people trying to get their shots in. And then
This was
here's the big
announced.
crowd that always happens
Yeah.
when these celebrities are stopped on these attractions. Sorry, go ahead, MJ.
No, it's fine. He totally announced this ahead of time on his social media outlets that, hey guys, I'm going to be in Disneyland such and such a day, such and such a time. If you want to take a selfie with me, blah, blah, blah. I mean, because look at how many people knew he was going to be there. And they're like, this was totally announced ahead of time. And you know why Disney keeps allowing it? Because propaganda, it's like free advertisement for them. They don't care. And that's really sad. That's not
If I was
okay.
Disney, I'd be charging him for using me as a location.
Yeah.
Well, if you got a VIP tour, there are costs associated with that, significant costs for sure. But I don't mean to come at speed here, not at all. Look, if you want to go ahead and have a day at Disneyland, I hope you do, and I hope it's extremely enjoyable. But to cause this kind of commotion.
Did you see how
Yes.
scared that poor lady? Like, oh my gosh, look at her. She was scared at first. I mean, she probably doesn't even know who he is.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even know who he is.
I don't either, and I don't want to know.
You don't know who Speed is? Come on, he's huge.
No.
Well, there is kind of an endearing moment where he's like, "Hey, I'll provide you security, make sure you're okay, and whatever." Because he kind of sees the crowd kind of crowding around certain individuals right there, so he has an understanding of what he's doing. It's just to live stream in this way. Disney, what are you doing? You have to stop this. If Speed wants to visit the parks like anybody else, fine, all good, no problem. But to live stream it in this way, and like I said, to cause commotion, not great for the guest experience overall. But perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps it's changing times and so forth.
Bad show.
Exactly.
Bad show.
Speed would later go on because he's doing a tour around the United States, and so as part of his stop here in Southern California, he went to not only Disneyland but actually on the same live stream traveled up to LA to go to Universal Studios Hollywood in the same day. And obviously, you've got more things happening there as well.
Did the CHP give him an escort on the freeway?
Don't think so.
Otherwise, I don't know how you get there in one day. But anyway,
yeah, it takes a little while right there for sure. I would think, but there you go. I show Speed showing up at Disneyland, and it's more influencers taking over the park that people paid very good money for to experience without all this commotion and ruckus. Goodness gracious. Good stuff.
If I walked in and
sure.
that was going on, I'd be at the front gate asking for my money back and say, sorry, not me, not today.
Correct.
I just would. I would.
I don't disagree with you.
Breaking all the rules. So, you know, that's not okay. You're on private property. Follow the rules. You should be acting like anyone else. You want to enjoy your day. We all do. Just be a little bit more discreet. Have some discretion and be respectful.
But like I say, he's not about discretion because he's the attraction. The park is just the backdrop.
It's a shame.
Very true. But Nolan is not part of the backdrop. He's on screen right now, and I'm sure he was startled
Globetrotter
from
Nolan
that whole thing. Hello there, Nolan. What's going on today? No, and you are muted, good sir.
Say something, kid. Say it with a microphone on.
Oh.
He may have had to reboot.
Went away.
Yeah.
You sabotaged by an influencer.
Sad to say, indeed. Let's go ahead and see if we can actually load up the next story right here, because this story is a bit of a fun one for various reasons. And I'm so glad I have Lou here to talk about it, because he can talk about the unique history of this theme park like nobody else can, because he has a very unique experience with it. What am I talking about? I am talking about Universal Studios Hollywood and the Fast and the Furious Hollywood Drift roller coaster. I think that's what they're calling it right now. Let's go ahead and put this on screen right now to show everybody at home what we're talking about. LA Comic-Con just took place, actually. And I think we have somebody joining us from in the background. Let's see, is that, are we good now? Nolan, test 1, 2. Are you good?
Can I finally bring my musical presence? Can we start this musical?
We can hear you.
Absolutely.
What's pumping, homies?
I'm sorry, but you're going to have to strap your tablet to your forearm and have 5 black guys chase you around if you're going to do that.
I'll pretend to understand that. Sure.
Well, LA Comic-Con was, it actually just took place, and in it, they had a special Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift panel hosted by John Corfino and Abby Venin? I think it's Abby Venin. Anyway, the Vice President, Universal Creative, and Senior Show Producer, Universal Creative. And LA Comic-Con, there were people there, and they were excited to hear what Universal actually had to say. They actually had the ride vehicles on display, which was actually pretty cool for those going there. You can see. I think these are some of the best ride vehicles I've ever seen for any coaster ever. That's just me. And the fact that they're going to have onboard audio and spin and do all this kind of crazy stuff, it is awesome. For people who might not know, Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift looks like
PEAK, huh? Anyway.
See, that's the editor side of Lou.
I just noticed these things. They jump out at me and say, dumbass, pardon me. Anyway.
Oh boy!
Can't you be a theme park enthusiast and be literate too? Is that too much to ask? Anyway.
This is why we have the great editor-in-chief Marvin Montanaro to help us out. But Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift is one of the most anticipated roller coasters that there is right now. Max speed of 72 miles per hour, 4,100 feet worth of track right there, and unlike Velocicoaster, this has an extra element to it, and that is the fact that these ride vehicles, they actually spin. Now, it's not a free spin, it's actually a controlled spin. So imagine Cosmic Rewind, but with inversions, and that's what we're getting here with
and outdoors, and on a hill.
And outdoors. And on a hill, yes. And they actually talk about that here. So this from Laughing Place, who was posting about this panel that took place at LA Comic-Con that was going into details of presenting this coaster. Now, John and B, I believe, are talking about Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift. Quote, it's a great opportunity to bring people behind the scenes of the movies, and there are lots of props and demonstrations of stunts in the queue. And a lot of people said, that's very interesting. I mean, I understand it's Universal Studios Hollywood, but the fact that it's not immersing you into a storyline, interesting. You'll really be able to get up close and personal with some incredible vehicles and some really cool moments. And that's a quote from one of the Universal creatives there. Apparently, there have been around 70 different iterations of Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift in development for over 9 years. Very impressive. Quote, we wanted to somehow go around and underneath the starway, says Corfino. He also talks about the ride vehicles. It's absolutely imperative to honor the IP. This is a fan favorite, so we have to live up to those expectations. Okay, all things good. Designing anything at Universal Studios Hollywood is like living your life on a sailboat. We do not have a lot of room. The real estate is challenging, but our construction and facilities team is doing an incredible job. And indeed, it's like on the side of a hill. So it is very ambitious.
And
but
not
this
a short hill for those who've never been there. I don't know what the exact footage is as far as the elevation from the top to the bottom, and I'm too lazy to go on Google Earth and measure it, but it's a considerable distance.
It's quite the hill for sure. You can see some amazing B-roll actually assembled by Ivan, the construction and so forth. It's farther along than what this footage would actually relate to you today, and it should be starting testing here very, very soon, as pointed out by Theme Park Wizard out there in the chat. But this is the part that has everybody concerned, and Lou, we're going to need your insight on this. Quote,
okay.
The creative conceit is that we're bringing you into a garage where they figure out how to create the Fast and the Furious stunts. It's almost like a love letter to the stuntmen and women. People are freaking out because people, I suppose, expected that this be a story that is conveyed to this coaster, not dissimilar to like the immersive worlds or immersive attractions that you would get over at Dark Universe and Epic Universe, or maybe the Harry Potter attractions. People are like, going through stunts, we expected something far more immersive, I suppose. Lou?
I don't know how you can do that outdoors on the side of a hill.
Right.
It's easy.
That doesn't bother me. That shot that you showed with the frame around it, for those who don't know how these things happen, keep just cycling back around to where it was. When it gets there, I'll mention it again. But they put this wide sort of a frame around there. See that pipe-looking thing right in the middle that's wiggling a little bit as it wiggles? That is to show the outside maximum clearance so that they know that there aren't any tree branches or obstructions or anything that could be reachable by a guest and therefore cause injury.
Right, the envelope of protection.
Yes, that's the see, I knew you'd know the words. I'm just struggling along here. But as far as it being a story or not, people want to ride it because it's going to go fast and they can look at the valley.
Right. And I was actually surprised by the online fervor surrounding this, because I'm like, well, look, it's Universal Studios Hollywood. It is right next to one of the most famous, infamous backlots in the world. So many people have associated this specific theme park with being right next to active sound stages, active production facilities, and so forth. So the fact that you would have a ride honor that in the great Universal Studios Hollywood tradition, in which they would set up different experiences to show you the movie making process, I think is very consistent with the heritage and legacy of this specific hotel. I said hotel because we'll talk about that a little bit later, but specific park. Nolan, I want to go ahead and go to you. Do you need a story surrounding every single ride experience, or is it just, hey, this is a coaster on the side of a hill, it's awesome, Fast and Furious themed? Is that enough?
I'm kind of shocked that people want to go to Fast and Furious for a story. Do the films even have a story at this point?
That's a great
point. And the last time they told a story was that awful screen-based ride that they did, and it was endlessly, pointlessly a story.
Yeah, exactly.
The core of Fast and the Furious is, the cool stunts and all that, and family. A family, that's important too, according to Vin Diesel. Family is there.
Oh, Hannah.
But yeah, we already had a film about that, so I don't know. Maybe it will do well. But I think we've just been, quote unquote, eating good for quite a while here, because we're just coming off the heels of Epic Universe, where there was so much that went behind it, immersive soundtracks in every area, worlds with stories built behind them, from, the 40 years of the Super Mario franchise, or the, however old the Universal monster movies are collectively, because, they're up there a bit. And so many of these series they're focusing on have such expansive worlds, different iteration, books, whatever have you. Fast and the Furious is getting a roller coaster, and they definitely could have done something to tie into the 12, I don't know, we have 24 movies at this point. There's been a lot of them, it feels like.
Yeah.
But it's not one of those where I don't feel like even the most diehard fans would be like, man, I just need to see the lore of Fast and the Furious. I don't think that was really a priority here. I think they just wanted to do something that'd be a fun, memorable time. And to its credit, it is kind of hard to build lore to a roller coaster when you don't have a lot of dark ride theming. And who knows, maybe when this ride comes out, we will have that, and maybe it will show more justifiable reason of why we need more story in this ride. We've seen coasters in other parks, not have very much storyline to that, and they suffer. I take some of the DC Universe attractions at the Six Flags parks, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, whatever have you, Green Lantern. It does take away a bit that you don't really get that level of immersion. But for something like this, I don't think Universal was going at immersions for a priority here. I'm literally coming off the heels of Halloween Horror Nights, which was all about immersion and, world building and making the viewer feel there. This is supposed to be some fun, crazy thrills. And when you have a park that's really built off the foundation of feeling like you're there, having a coaster like this that doesn't have very much story focus, I think that's okay as long as you got a healthy variety. Now, if all of their projects on the horizon are going to start looking like this, I'd say it's time for pushback. But for right now, I think Fast and Furious fans are eating pretty good, as well as the casual theme park goer.
Indeed.
The story is, it's a car. It goes fast. It spins.
Vroom, vroom.
Thank you. And by the time you thought that through, it's over.
Exactly. MJ, I don't think... I know you're more East Coast than West Coast. If you were to book a flight out to LA in order to experience this attraction, I don't really think that the inclusion of a story or the exclusion of a story is necessarily going to alter maybe your travel plans or maybe your flight, your I guess your vacation package and so forth. Am I wrong here? Or, hey, are we just in this kind of immersive mode in theme park history where we need everything to tell us a story?
No, you're not wrong. I agree with you. I would not get in a plane and go travel from the East Coast to the West Coast for this. I think it looks really cool and interesting. Like Nolan said, it's like a thrilling ride. I think people are kind of over it. They over-exhausted the whole Fast and Furious franchise. The first few films were so good, and then they just started getting stupid. And they lost
We're going to space.
Yeah, like they lost my attention. Everyone remembers the classic, The Fast and Furious Part 1. I mean, I was a teenager when it came out. It was a great film. The characters were very memorable. You were emotionally attached to the character, like you got Vin Diesel and you have Michelle Rodriguez and all those great.
Paul
then you
Walker.
have the Paul Walker, and you have this new franchise of characters. They're not memorable. You can easily forget about them. I would not travel to go on that. But if I happened to be there and it was like a low wait, I would totally do it with my family. But I'm not going to go all the way over there for that. Now, if they brought Jaws back, I'm heading over there. But,
Interesting. Okay, well,
Jaws
apparently there are...
Jumping on a plane real quick. Totally. Yeah.
Well, they have a Jaws encounter, but not the ride.
Your motto is sharks, yes, cars, no.
Right.
It would appear so. Eric, I know
How about a shark in a car?
Oh,
that's
Bad Guys, like my son's favorite movie, The Bad Guys. The shark is in the car.
It's like Jaws and the Furious or something.
Coaster to Sharknado, I guess, but I don't know.
Yes, that's.
I got to tell you, the most challenging engineering issue on this whole thing, from what I know of that location, is noise.
Right.
because they
Right.
get everybody complaining about everything coming out of that studio now anyway. Everybody, it's it's people who move in under the approach path to LAX and then say, "Oh my God, there's airplanes here. I'm going to sue."
Yeah, exactly. Or when you live in Anaheim, and it's like, oh, if there are fireworks every night.
Yeah,
Yes, there have
exactly.
been for over 70 years. Thank you. Erica, I know you have a unique connection to the coaster world community and all of that. Lastly, with you, look, I don't think a story is necessary, but maybe it is. Maybe that really changes the dynamic. Despite that, excited to go on this?
You're funny. No.
I know there's no over-the-shoulder restraints. I know how you feel about that.
Yeah, the second I saw the train, I was like, yeah, I kind of figured. So no, for this particular attraction, I don't think you need a good storyline. It's Fast and Furious. Everybody knows the franchise. It's about cars. Cars are supposed to go fast. It's very sweet, short, straight to the point on the marketing. And it's pretty much what you would expect, especially when you look at Rock and Roller Coaster over at Studios at Disney. They've got a train that looks like a long limousine. So the precedent has been set on a design for a train for a coaster like this. And I think it's kind of genius. And now you don't need a whole ton of theming for this particular IP. It's going to sell itself. People love coasters. I love the ingenuity of them. I just can't ride most of them. Both scaredy cat and I do have medical reasons. I can't, even if I wanted to now.
Well, and then the other question is, it just occurred to me, what they're competing with is not other coasters. They're competing with the real crazy drivers on the freeways right down the hill. Because as somebody who's transited that area quite frequently in the last 72 years, some people out there are fast, and the rest of us are furious about it. On the other hand, I'm happy to say that none of these cars looks like a BMW, which is the dead giveaway of a bad driver.
The BMW meme. Oh my goodness. It's so funny. Go ahead, Eric.
I don't know if that was just a bad angle or a bad picture, but it looked like it wasn't like painted all the way.
Thing to get it to be a
I think it's just the picture.
It's just the angle. I can tell you the finishes on this look absolutely amazing. Noise is definitely a concern. I know there's a big sound barrier that is actually going in next to the tram pathway right there. I know noise is up the utmost concern. They were pitching the city and they said, okay, there's not going to be any LED lights on these coaster trains in order to minimize light pollution and so forth. So there's a lot of considerations made with this. It's supposed to be starting testing very, very shortly, and it should be good for an early 2026 debut, we are hoping. But I'll end it on this. I think this is fantastic from Just a Touchy for the 2 Euros, Fast and the Fragile, the final lap coming 2026. Pretty good stuff.
I thought it would be the Fast and the Fierce. Isn't it the Fierce?
Yeah, Fast and the Fierce, indeed. So good stuff. Thank you, Just Touchy, for that 2 Euros. Thank you. And Matt B with the 499. The big complaint in Hollywood is seeing the Fast and Furious sign when walking out of Hogsmeade. Bring up a video. You do lose some immersion. That's another thing that's attached to this right now. I think Theme Park Wizard actually had a video about this. Yeah, so sightlines, immersion, that will always be a problem at Universal Studios Hollywood, just given how large this park actually is. And again, it's organically built out on a hill. There was no master plan that was set forth when they really built this in the same way that you see Disneyland or anything else. But go ahead, please.
I should mention a story I know we've discussed on the other show, Vash, but maybe people haven't heard. Once upon a everybody goes to theme parks and individual attractions for different reasons. Once upon a time, I was actually doing a show down the hill, and we had a couple hours off, so I walked in the gate and went up to the top lot. And when I'm coming back down on that, what do they call it? The Starcade or whatever, this giant escalator on the hill. There's these people. I said, this is something, huh? And they said, oh, yeah. They were there for an Otis elevator convention downtown. And so they were there to look at this. What did they come to the park for? To ride the damn escalator. That was their purpose in being there, because that's what they do for a living. And
Yes.
so you never know, you know? You
Hey,
never
the
know.
escalators at Universal Studios Hollywood are among the most impressive I've ever seen. First of all, they're outdoors. They take you down a mountainside in less than 5 minutes. It is actually pretty impressive right
they're
there.
good. But someday, Vash, if you ever go to the Moscow subways, you'll see some that are even better. So,
Ooh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
cannot wait. You can see right here, this is what is it, Matt B was actually referring to, the immersion when actually walking out of Hogsmeade. Yes, I would say that your immersion was already kind of at stake here when walking out of
you were in
Hogsmeade.
Hogsmeade and you didn't know you were in a theme park that had other IPs in it. Wow.
Yeah, it will. Everything in Hollywood will always be less than ideal. Just given the spatial constraints, given the issues regarding sightlines and everything like that. Remember, at the bottom of the hill, you can see stuff at the top of it. That will always be the case. There's no getting around it. So how can we minimize that to the extent that we can? Sometimes it's just not able to. I do wonder if they'll do some kind of barrier outside of Hogsmeade in order just to break up the visual sightlines. But again, that's a major artery, a major walkway that they have to have clear.
And they're
It's
saying,
gonna
hey,
be
did
tough.
you enjoy Hogsmeade? Why don't you come over and ride our new roller coaster?
Boom. There you go.
You know, I mean, that sign becomes a weenie, doesn't it?
That
It
looks
sure
terrible.
does.
It becomes a draw. So, you know.
That's terrible that they did that. It's a shame. It really is a shame. Like, who wants to walk through that and see that? Thank God we don't have that over here on the East Coast.
Well, but they're leaving, right? So they're not
Yeah.
entering the whole world of Harry Potter.
That's the thing. And here's the thing. When you're in Hogsmeade, you can see a big office building right there. You're
Well,
just
yeah.
never going to have the kind of
Them damn
immersive
muggles
setting.
bought the real estate next door. And
Yeah, exactly.
there
That's the
goes
business unit
the
for
magical neighborhood, right? Oh, well.
for Hogsmeade. Oh boy, that's great stuff right there. Well, there you go. Thought we'd bring it to your attention. All right. The other Universal Studios Hollywood story is a fascinating one. We just got done talking about LA Comic Con and how that just took place right here, but there was something else that was on the agenda right there. You can see Universal FanFest nights. And Nolan, I know you're a big fan of Universal FanFest nights. I am too. One of the big reasons why is because of that amazing Back to the Future experience that was on the lower lot there, actually taking place in the real Courthouse Square, where Back to the Future was actually filmed back in the early 1980s, leading up to its release in 1985. Very cool stuff, awesome stuff, and apparently they actually had a panel that went into some of this. Back to the Future Return to Hill Valley got a round of applause in the room. Sirks, okay, says Fast and Furious Nights, FanFest Nights took about 3 years to develop, which is pretty significant, actually. Some of the ideas there, yeah. So here you go. This is the most controversial part of this. They're actually not bringing Back to the Future for 2026. They're going in a completely different direction, specifically with the Universal Monsters and Scooby-Doo. Now you're thinking, well, that's an odd take on it. Not precisely, because you know as well as I do, Lou, that in the back lot along the tram tour, you have a little place called the Court of Miracles. And the Court of Miracles is where they filmed all those classic...
Well, let's be real technical. This is not the original. It burned down.
Yes, that's true. The original did burn down. But this is the plot of land with some facades that have been changed, in which they filmed many of those Universal Monsters films.
It's not the original building. That's all I'm saying. So,
of course,
they basically wanted to create a Balkan, Middle European village that all of these classic monster stories could take place in, and that's what they built. And then just by redressing it a little every time, you could have Dracula or Frankenstein or anybody else. So.
Right, and look, I mean, when I see these sets right here, when I see the or when I think about it, at least the monsters actually taking up residence in this specific place, I think, oh, that's actually a pretty good idea. That's kind of something I actually want to see. To mix it in with Scooby-Doo, it's a choice.
Are they mixing them together, or are they just going to have a Scooby-Doo area and a monster area?
I think they're going to mix them together, and the reason why is to specifically state that this is a little bit more family friendly than maybe something you would actually experience with Halloween Horror Nights. I think they do want to have a break there.
You know what they got to do? They got to have Scooby or one of the others go up to the Frankenstein monster and pull the mask off, and underneath it's the real Frankenstein monster.
I think that's literally what they're going to do with this FanFest experience here in 2026, and I think it's actually very interesting. There's been a lot of fervor for the monsters to be featured because of actually Dark Universe and bring those monsters to the forefront the way they did. So I'm actually excited to see them in a place that is very fitting for them to be featured in. I guess my only concern though is that, well, we're not going to get Back to the Future, and I think for many that's a big disappointment, because that was one of the mainstays of FanFest Nights 2025. My question to you all is Scooby-Doo plus monsters, is that something that entices in the same way that Back to the Future did?
Did they didn't do anything for FanFest at 6 Points, right? At the Western
Six
Streets?
No, not yet.
So why couldn't you do Back to the Future 3, the Western part, there?
That's a really great idea, actually. Okay, we need to write this down. Hey, Universal, Creative, get on this. This is actually a really good idea. I do wonder if they're limiting the backlot experiences to just one experience a year and on rotation. It could be that. And to that, I'd say that would be really, really cool. Nolan, your thoughts, please.
Oh, absolutely. So I saw this news here very recently. When I saw Scooby-Doo, part of my, I was so astronomically happy. I'm pretty sure the soul went out of my body and then came back in, because I am a Scooby-Doo diehard over here. I love that kind of ordeal. So I am very happy they're going to lean into it, because it's a franchise that appeals to a lot of different people and a lot of different backgrounds and stuff. I am coming off of, we were just mentioning Halloween Horror Nights, and Scooby-Doo definitely has a better family appeal to it, because as amazing as Halloween Horror Nights is, and I would never want this to change, it is a reason they say it's 13 and up. There's a lot of gore, there's a lot of sexual themes and stuff. Actually, the show I saw, which was called Nightmare Fuel, Circus of the Decay, it was over the top on how wild it is, but it is not a kid's thing. And I think it's the highlight of any stage show in Florida. But the reality is that's not something that you should really be dragging your kids to. FanFest with Scooby-Doo gets an opportunity to where, you're going to have a very healthy variety of opportunity there, and mixing in, of course, the Universal monsters. Everybody, no matter how old you are, Frankenstein, Dracula. It's going to have a lot of, you can have this one for the older people over here on the East Coast, this appeal over here on the West Coast. And as for the concern of not featuring Back to the Future, I am a bit relieved by this, and this is why I feel this way, is because you look at Oogie Boogie Bash over at Disney and Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. A friend of mine, Marvin Montanaro, he's brought up before about how he's been there time and time again, and the show, it just doesn't change. It's the same dang show every year. I love that with FanFest, they're doing what I was hoping they were going to do, was they're going to change up the appeal every year. It rotates in and out. You have different brands featured at every time you go to Halloween Horror Nights, for example. There were some people walking around actually just the other day, and I saw Stranger Things or Last of Us, and those are things that are no longer featured in the park. It's evergreen. They've been doing this for a very long time. I believe 34 years or so. So you have a lot of different opportunities to always be excited for something new. My concern with that is, though, there are people who did not get to experience Back to the Future, and I'm very, very lucky I got to even be one of them in the first place. I do think they did this for way too short of a time. However, I am one who believes in, let's see if we can find some opportunity out of this problem. And why not use the excuse to bring some sort of Back to the Future temporary type FanFest event over to the East Coast? Like, maybe it's about time they integrate some sort of event like that. Because, you know, I don't think you should really have to pick your state on how intense or family friendly it is. You should be able to easily go into an adult oriented Halloween attraction thing and not have to worry about children, and be able to calmly focus on your adult fun. If you have kids, you should have the easy option to go to the family friendly thing. It should be, you know, I feel like every park should have variety in different times to bring different kinds of people, different backgrounds, different franchises. And I think that it just comes at the end of the day is things need to be like a smorgasbord. You need variety, and I think changing this up is a good move. Just make sure you're giving people in various states the opportunity to do that. Because like I said, I think the Halloween stuff in Florida was amazing. I wish Nebraska or Oklahoma had an opportunity of it, because that stuff is just that dang
Vegas,
good.
Vegas does now.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's expanding. It's getting bigger. And I think something as magical as FanFest was, to where it almost literally feels like you're walking into a video game with how alive, vibrant it is. It's one of the few times I felt like in the modern age where it doesn't feel like you're just glued to like a smartphone the whole time, or it feels very forced. Everything feels very natural. And if Universal can pull off the same thing with Scooby-Doo, then I think this could perhaps get even bigger than, say, the Back to the Future franchise's impact was. It's just going to have to say is, hey, that was a quote-unquote easy mode in comparison of where they could take this thing, because, you know, they had the actual set there to make it feel more authentic, the actual location. Scooby-Doo, Universal Monsters, they're going to be a little bit more limited. So let's see what kind of creative things they can do to change this up year after year. I just hope this isn't the final opportunity for those who missed out on Back to the Future to have a time to even do this. They shouldn't have to wait like 40 years for it, you know?
No, they'll bring it back in a year or two.
I think so. I think
Raph wanted to go so bad, and we just couldn't. And man, that sucks. I'm disappointed.
I got to be honest. I'm a little disappointed as well. But Nolan, I think there's something to be said about refreshing experiences. MJ, I want to go ahead and go to you real fast on this. When I think about like Oogie Boogie Bash or Make It Not So Scary, as Nolan actually pointed out right there, I was having this conversation with Barry Place 28 and Theme Park Wizard last night actually about how those experiences, at least Oogie Boogie Bash, had gotten stale, even though the price has increased dramatically on this. My question to you is, do you invite a change in how things are done, to the extent that Universal is doing, where they have a fan favorite thing and they're kind of, letting it, hey, let's go ahead and do something else in its place? Do you invite this?
I have a little bit of a mixed feeling. I think it's terrible that they are not giving people the opportunity to do the Back to the Future experience, because you're practically immersed. Like you feel like you're in the movie with the characters. It's such a loved film. But as Nolan was talking, my mind completely got changed. I was like, you know what? He made such a valid point. Disneyland keeps doing the same thing with Oogie Boogie, and it's like the same characters. It's the same routine. It's the same cue. You already know what's going to happen. You can predict, who's handing out candy in the next, little area where you go trick-or-treating. And the Disney, so Universal's learning from Disney. They're like, we're not going to do that. Let's switch it up. Everyone loves Scooby-Doo. That's another classic. Like, we have, I don't know how you guys in California, but over here on the East Coast, if you go to Universal Studios like today or tomorrow, you will find Scooby and the gang, and they're all hanging out and they're all like talking, and you can take pictures with them. I just feel like, because I'm able to probably do that so much, I want to see something else. I know you get to see Doc here with, on the East Coast with his car and all that, but this is like really cool. And I don't know how they're going to top that with Scooby and the Monsters thing. I'm just trying to picture it. They're going to have to take one of the, Scooby's episodes where they like Ghost was saying, where they unveil, they take the mask off, and it's like So what episode are we going to be involved in? Like, what are we seeing? You know, I don't know how they're going to do it, but it is cool that things, you know.
What I don't know, and maybe you all know better than me, is Scooby still airing anywhere? The actual shows?
Oh, yeah, they actually have been producing. I don't know if there's currently a show running, but routinely Warner Brothers keeps putting out animated Scooby-Doo movies almost yearly, if not yearly. So it's still staying pretty relevant.
Don't they have a block as well in the early morning hours for Cartoon Network? I mean, back when I was a kid, they did. Hopefully that would maintain its relevancy in some way. Look, I gotta agree with Nolan on this. And Erica, Man, I wish Raph could have seen this. I don't think it's gone forever because, you know, they did produce so many assets. That's the other thing, too. It's easier to just redo what you did last year, right? You've already produced everything for it. You can maybe add to it the next year and store the stuff, bring it out, that kind of thing. I do find it a little bit more ambitious to bring on completely new experiences every single year, or at least have a rotation of those new experiences every single year. I do find that fascinating. Man, I need Back to the Future 3, by the way. It's 6 Points, Texas. I need this.
That's my favorite movie is out of the third one is my favorite. The Western would have been great to bring to Raph is the fan of the second movie.
But if you want a fix of the Western experience, I do have to highly recommend at City Walk right now, Universal. They do have a Back to the Future themed escape room. And in that escape room, there is a spot where you enter into what is supposed to be the train from the movie. And you get to mess with the gadgets to like get out of the room. So there is some sort of Back to the Future 3 experience in Universal.
God.
It's just not themed to the whole land, you know? But it is, I gotta say, no one ever talks about the escape rooms present at Universal Studios. Best escape room ever been in my life. I cannot recommend it enough.
I've never done one. But I've tried an attempt at it for our youth ministry. I don't think it was went well because I had never been to one.
I'm lucky every morning if I can escape my room. So,
oh man, that's pretty good right there.
From a business standpoint, I mean, they want to stay ahead of Disney. They want to stay ahead of the curve, and they've already set a precedence, like Nolan pointed out, with the Halloween Horror Nights. And another thing that we had observed last time we spoke about this was how they could be putting out feelers on, they have room to expand and grow. Universal is not holding back on expanding on, at least on the East Coast, and who knows what else is coming way down the pipeline on maybe another theme park somewhere else in another 10 years. I mean, who knows what data they're collecting and doing this and what's really going on behind scenes, so I could see it from the the C-suite level of this, kind of being a good thing. But it really is incredibly disappointing for our family because I was hoping it would make a return because it was so popular, and maybe they would rotate some of the other ones out. I don't know. But I get it. I understand that
it'll come back.
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe a couple of years, they might bring it back, especially if it's in demand. And Universal is really good about listening to their customers. Maybe they'll bring it to the East Coast. I mean, it may not be the same because they have the actual, on location set where they filmed in California, which would have been nice to experience that. But I'm okay with going to, an alternative to that. We just wanted to go just to feel the immersion. And to watch the cast in front of you just live, like you're there. I've never experienced anything like that, and it would have been fun to experience that.
Just another little tiny side note: they had a leg up doing this there, because I have attended 2, 3 cast member employee Christmas parties at Universal that were held in Courthouse Square. That was the venue of choice for doing any kind of an outdoor employee party of any kind. So, in other words, all the lights on the buildings and everything, they that was baked into the cake.
Right. Which is
when you saw the
clever.
you saw the Star Trek stuff too, right, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody feel like they had to act with their arms so frenetically, but I don't know. It seems like, but see, I'm watching this.
Uh-huh.
And you know the line that comes to mind from the movie where he says, "Well, you might find this a little strange, but your kids are going to love it."
Mhm.
Well, that's Scooby, right? That's the monsters. So
maybe they're doing, because they said it took 3 years to prepare for this one, right, Vash? It took 3
well,
years.
they
Yes.
said the whole idea took 3 years. That's when they said, "Hey, what if we
So-
did?"
Wouldn't it be so cool if, like, next year, I don't think it's a family-friendly film, but what if they did, like, the whole Blues Brothers immersion with Jake and Elmwood, and you feel like you're in the film? Because there's
Oh, that's
movie
interesting.
is like so
Absolutely.
much fun. I mean, we watched it over the weekend, and I forgot how it takes you on an adventure. Like, movies are not made that way anymore. So you know
Yeah.
how many people would totally go if it was the Blues Brothers? You could take pictures with them. They do a performance. You're at their concert. We need money for the orphanage. Like, it would be so cool if that's what was coming next year. We don't know
Well,
what's coming next year, right?
MJ,
MJ, first
I
of all,
love-
I should point out that the genre guys did the Blues Brothers a few weeks ago, so you could catch our analysis of that. But secondly, they've been doing the Blues Brothers at Universal Studios Hollywood like forever, having Jake and
Forever.
Elwood doing shows up there in the middle of the upper lot stuff by the Mills Diner. So it's not like it's a whole new thing to do that there. People have been used to that for a while. So I
That
don't mean
is
it's
if I could
bad.
chime
It
in a
just
little bit
means-
too here, like MJ, I think to your point too, I don't think the fact that it's not the most family friendly film is really an issue either, because they've been proven with the Halloween stuff that once it hits nighttime, like when the Shrek lights shut off, they're going to embrace that. I think they know that they're not Disney and they can be the alternate option. So
Yeah,
I think
they-
Blue Brothers would actually be really fun.
That would be so
Get a
much
little bit of
fun.
an edge.
Yeah. But you're right.
And
By
there's-
the way,
On the-
all this about, well, they have to outdo. No, they're not competing with Disney. They're competing with themselves, and that's why they're winning.
all the classic
It's true.
films.
Well,
They have the
point.
best. Yep.
Man, I just I love all this, and I love the potential for this to for more franchises to be explored in this way, for more franchises to be dropped into Universal Studios Hollywood among many of the sets that these things were actually filmed in and so forth. I think it's just phenomenal. It's a great use of resources, and I think FanFest Nights is going to be a classic experience. Maybe not to the level of Halloween Horror Nights, but I think it's right up there for sure. Also, too, I want to say that I think they're going to put a particular emphasis on anime in the upcoming FanFest Nights, and I do hear Wizard. Hopefully, I can release this. That One Piece experience that you see with the Waterworld Theater over there in Japan, that might be making its way out west as well. So, very, very cool stuff indeed. Oh, awesome. Let's see right here. We have one more story before hanging it off to, I believe, Culture Casino, who has a show called, what is it? Thank you for your attention on this matter.
Yes,
Pretty funny. It's pretty great stuff right there.
well, you know where that comes from.
I trust me, Clue. I
knew you
know
knew.
exactly.
But anyway,
Yes. 45, 47. Take your pick. This story out of Walt Disney World. MJ, I gotta ask you, what is going on with Walt Disney World and maintenance? I don't like to see this. Bees. It's the stack of the bees on the facade of the Little Mermaid. That being the new Fantasyland attraction that opened with that land. Man, when new Fantasyland opened? Was that 2013? 20? I don't even remember. But yes.
My God.
I can
The
see her
bees.
singing those. What do you call them? Anaphylactic shock.
It's not so good. But look, this is a very dangerous situation. I am surprised that nobody saw this when it was actually forming. And now we have this particularly dangerous issue to work with, especially in, the vicinity of children.
Star Wars and call it a hive of scum and villainy.
The bees. The bees jokes.
Not the
They
bees.
are very funny.
Bee picture.
Not the bees. But this just follows a long line of kind of maintenance issues. And this includes both ghosts, unfortunately. We obviously know the light pole incident, which you had a huge lighting rig actually fall into guest walkways, unfortunately sending somebody to the hospital. That's no good. You had the speaker pole situation at Disneyland where you had a rotted pole and, well, it was taken, it fell over as well. It bent that gate, by the way, which is extraordinary. And Epcot, you have a couple of sewage leaks. One of those being collapsing ceilings and so forth. And at Magic Kingdom, you have sewage leaks over there as well. I can go on.
The base of the Torii Gate at DCA, you know, for what's it called? Tokyo.
San Francisco?
San Francisco, yes. Oh,
Mhm.
You can get Sokio'd. Oh, can you get Sokio'd? But, look, this... all of those bees didn't show up overnight.
Correct.
Exactly.
It's been like that for a long time before it got this bad. And everybody shrugged and said, well, I don't know, it's not my job. Is it your job? Is it maybe?
Did you get a chance to keep those photos I sent you, Vash, a few weeks ago? It was in front of the Magic Kingdom, the castle. There's the railings that are all rusted. I sent you those pictures.
Yes, you did.
Bad.
You did actually send me those
Really,
pictures.
really
And
yeah.
let me see if I can bring those up, actually, because
And
I
there
actually
was a
forgot to check
time
those.
when they did proactive maintenance. I remember one time being at Epcot, and they were replacing the handrails in Japan, you know, around the building that the restaurant's in. And I was fascinated how they did it, because it was PVC pipe that they then layered on with a kind of a patterned gizmo, this putty that made it look like wood grain on the outside. And it was in a day. Or I watched when they were building Norway, the copper cupola, and they paint it with a substance that makes it age instantly as if it had been there for 100 years and go all green.
Once upon a time, Ghost, once upon a time, everything was actually, it was like weekly. You would go, like I told you guys on the last show, we were there for Labor Day weekend, and my daughters have been visiting the property since they were born. And they were like, Mom, why is it so dirty? I've never seen the Magic Kingdom this dirty. And they were like, we don't remember it. I mean, it was just really bad. That's in front of the castle, guys. You know that little reserved area that you have to pay extra to stand in to see the fireworks? That's that right there. That should not be like that. That's years of corrosion. Years.
This is in the most attended theme park in the world and one of the most photographed spots ever in the form of the castle, right? You have more Instagram and TikTok reels and everything filmed there than you just about anywhere else. And so I worry about these maintenance issues. I worry about these things where they're going to take capital expenditure in order to fix and maintain. We see a lot of CapEx being used with the various walls and what Animal Kingdom and Disney Hollywood Studios and in the Magic Kingdom now with the Rivers of America being removed and so forth. But if you can't maintain what you have, how do we put your faith in what's coming?
Between this and the guest brawls and lack of security on that score, you know, I know that there's downsides to going to theme parks. And those downsides for me have always been crowds and lines and heat and traffic, but not danger, actual physical danger. Because, you know, I mean, it's one thing on Circle Vision to say, please do not sit on the rails. They were not designed to support your weight. It's another thing for somebody to watch the fireworks and go through a rusty rail and cut themselves. This is just wrong.
And you know what?
Well,
that photo where the beehive is, that's in the Little Mermaid attraction area. There's also the meet and greet with Ariel. So how many children and families are standing in line? And you know, nowadays a lot of kids are allergic. A lot of people are allergic. So you're gonna get stung while you're waiting to meet Ariel. Like, what are you? This is like,
look.
Yeah. This is insane.
Exactly. I mean, if this was in another area of Walt Disney World that wasn't so kid-centric, maybe whatever. I still wouldn't give it a pass, but at least a little bit better.
When the first bee shows up, somebody should notice, call a beekeeper, get it taken care of.
Absolutely.
But somebody
They
said
have their own beekeepers right there on property. Well, they did. I don't know anymore because now that they're not having the gingerbread house this year at the Grand Floridian, what's going on with the bees I have on the land? Did that go away?
I don't know.
Interesting.
But all I'm saying is somebody said, well, we'll deal with it next week, next month, next year. It's not my job. I'll report it. And somewhere, someplace, a conscientious, good, hardworking, dedicated cast member passed this up the line, at which point it got put in the trash and forgotten. That's as I'm always saying, of all the parts that go in, the million parts or whatever that go into your car, the most important is the nut that holds the wheel. And when the people on the top don't care, not only is it dangerous, not only is it wrong, not only is it expensive in the long run, but that attitude translates down through the ranks.
Yep.
Indeed. Absolutely. Go ahead, Erica. You were going to say.
Oh, no, I forgot. It's all good.
You're totally fine. Nolan, I'll go ahead and give the last word to you. I look at maintenance issues like this, and it's very troubling indeed for the reasons that Lou actually points out here. And I do wonder about, okay, if you're going to have railings go south on you, especially ones that are so highly frequented, if you're going to have bees develop in various places where, it's right under the noses, if you're going to have collapsing ceilings and so forth, I do wonder about those attractions. I do wonder about those rides. Should anybody be concerned? How can we reverse course on this, I guess? Nolan, your extended thoughts, please.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of debate to be had about, what kind of things should a theme park be seen as, accountable for on the amount of maintenance that goes into the park. Some people will walk in a park, they'll see a minor scratch on something, and they'll be like, worst trip ever, I spent too much money. Then on the flip side, you have where you're just trying to have a nice day going to Soarin', and then a piece of wood off the ceiling comes falling down near you and stuff, and that's completely unacceptable. You should never have to worry about safety anytime you're going to a theme park, at least without, logical reason, because anytime you step out of your front door, you do put yourself at risk. That's just how life works. But the reality is, when you see these events piling up time and time again, it starts exposing that there might be a bigger issue looming here, and that guest safety might not be as prioritized when it comes to the budget book. In regards to how are you going to fix this issue, it just comes back to allocation. Money needs to be thrown at safety over everything else, because not only is safety incidents of someone possibly losing a life or an injury a tragedy, but it can kill a theme park brand. If that becomes your legacy, no one's going to go to your parks anymore, or at least not enough coming to where, you're going to be able to keep yourself afloat. Lawsuits can happen, and we've seen terrible controversies happen before with, say, Action Park, the water park, that unfortunately a lot of people lost their lives there. They need to, at the end of the day, the focus at Disney needs to not even be, there should be a focus on a lot of things, but the number one priority isn't happiness, it isn't magic, it's not money, it is safety. So wherever you can in the budget, if, certain things, hey, maybe the paint is due on an attraction, well, hey, maybe you need to wait a few months on that, because we need to focus on, hey, we need to keep that ceiling from falling in on somebody, because, it could be a kid or any person, any person who that thing falls on, that's not a good thing. So it just comes down to make sure your financials are going to the right things, because at a park like Disney World, they make money. And if you have to take some of the money away from maybe your movie studio or your cruise line that might have been using it for their next shiny object, well, it's going to have to wait, because guest safety comes first.
Let's put it this way. That lovely roller coaster we saw earlier on that hill in Hollywood, you better believe they're not going to let that rust this way.
That's a very good point, Lou. Very good point.
Well said.
Indeed. The mom with the 199, Vash, don't worry about the bees. Park's empty.
The bad news is we have dangers. The good news is there's nobody there to experience them. So what the hell?
That's a fair.
What if
fair
they gave
point.
a dangerous theme park and nobody came?
Is it dangerous anymore? Is the question.
Yeah. What is the sound of one rail snapping?
It's pretty good. Pretty good stuff right there. Very much appreciate that. Okay, I think that just about concludes our show. We were gonna get to Trash Can Gate, but I'm gonna go ahead and save that for that Park
Gate.
Place. Oh, there's a Trash Can Gate, Lou. It's huge. Everybody's talking about it. But we'll save that for that Park Place Morning Magic because we have to clear out for thank you for your attention to this matter, starring Culture Casino coming up right after our show. But before we get to that, Lou, why don't you go ahead and tell the good people where they can find you and what movies you're covering on the Genre Guys.
Oh, well, of course, we're here every Tuesday. And lately I've been on the late night shows on Monday and Wednesday. And of course, you and I do a little thing on Sunday afternoons. And by the way, folks, I'm committing myself. This Sunday at 2 p.m., expect a major announcement from yours truly is how you can get even more of me if you're really that introverted. Major. But anyway, and then the Genre Guys continue to explore movies. We went into some pretty wild ones last time. This time we're going a little more traditional. The next couple of them that we're going to do, if you want to get ahead of us and watch the movies, are the marvelous, not exactly a spy spoof, but it's a lighthearted spy movie with Walter Matthau and Glenda Jackson called Hopscotch that you might know or remember. And we're also doing Singing in the Rain, which, by the way, here's a little stat for you. It's 109 minutes long. There are 10 musical numbers. So if that ain't an all singing, all talking, all dancing movie, I don't know what is, okay? And you know, and by the way, that Gene Kelly had 103 fever, was sick when they shot the scene with Singing in the Rain, and his suit got so wet that it shrunk, and it was damn near strangling him by the end of the third day when they finished shooting it. See the kind of weird stuff you learn when you watch the Genre Guys? So please do.
It's amazing, and well, we all know that it was one of the films featured in the great movie ride. I'm still aggravated over that. But some great stuff. Definitely check out the Genre Guys, and this one, real winner, folks, real winner. MJ, what do you got going on in your neck of the woods, madame?
I am still working on my building content for my, you can still find me on X. I actually put my X name on the bottom here and on Instagram. I'm still working on some content to put out there for families that enjoy their days in the park. So hopefully by the end of the year, beginning of next year, I'll have enough content to be putting out there for everybody. Until then, whatever I can share, I will put it on X and Instagram for you guys. Whatever I hear that'll make your day more smooth, it's going on there.
Yes, and it's magically MJ, is that right?
Magically MJ.
Indeed. Let me go ahead and bring it up on the screen right now and put that link in the chat so that people know where they can find you.
Pirate photo, right? A pirate's life for me. I love pirates. So.
Please, Nolan, what you got going on in your neck of the woods, good sir?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have a big announcement coming out this Thursday, actually, on Toonie Talk TV. It's very likely I will be announcing the subject matter for the next episode of Lost in the Files, which is my video game mystery series where I talk about lots of different kinds of internet video game mysteries out there. There could be hoaxes, behind the scenes development, random urban legends that might have been hiding in the files of these discs. A lot of really interesting stuff from favorite franchises from,
if you
Mario.
haven't watched his spooky movie yet, by God, you've got to. You see that thing about Nintendo? Oh my God, Super Mario. Oh, you've got to watch it, folks. It will just, Robert Stack, eat your heart out. I said Nolan should be in the trench coat in the fog talking about strange mysteries. Well, he's almost doing that, only he adds a cowboy hat, which is even better. And it's just a fantastic trip about a game I could care less about. I never bothered to play much, but woo, spooky stuff. You want to see something really scary, kids? Watch that. Watch that.
Lou is just an amazing, amazing person, and I can't top his pitch there. If you want to check it out, please check it out. Super Mario 64's Dark Secret is every copy personalized. It was a over year-long endeavor to make this documentary, but I really hope you enjoy it if you choose to check it out. Thank you very much, Vash, for the plug, and Lou, thank you for the accolades.
Absolutely.
Well
You can also
deserved,
catch.
my friend. Well deserved.
Oh, indeed. Without a doubt. And you can also catch No One Thunder at That Game Plays, producing some great video game themed content over there with Culture Casino, Marvin Montanero, and so many more. All your favorites over there at That Game Plays. Erica from Erica and Raph. What do you have going on in your neck of the woods, madame?
So we are still waiting to hear if we're headed back stateside. This week was supposed to be the week to get word, and now we have a government shutdown looming over us, which is going to elongate the wait. I know
I
it's
forgot
like
about that.
this is our luck, the people. This is welcome to our life over here. So that's why I've been holding off on really decorating and filming, because I'm terrified. If I start decorating, then we'll hear word and the movers are going to come literally either the week of Halloween or on Halloween. That would be my luck.
But that would probably be the equivalent of, you light a cigarette and the meal comes in a restaurant or something. You should probably do it for that reason, because it'll get you the gig.
I know and I've thought about using that reverse psychology into the universe.
Yes.
But man, is this like the amount of work, like I can't even describe to you guys how labor intensive it is to set all of this up. And
Everybody used to
on
watch
top of it,
last year, they were amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, look at how she's putting all this together, and she's so natural, and just so it was such a great video to watch. All parts, I watched all of them. So everybody go watch her videos from last year.
And Erica, moving sucks. We all know that. And I will tell you, and I don't mean to give you a cautionary tale, but a mutual friend of all of ours recently moved to another country for work, and stuff that came by ship in a container got there. The stuff that's coming by air still hasn't. Go figure.
That's so weird. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Although I have to say, I've heard some odd stories. Yeah, that can happen. There's just a lot, from shipping the cars and then prepping the cars, then shipping them, then the movers. And
don't ship the cars, sell the cars.
Oh no, we are, because they ship one car for free, and it's actually cheaper to ship a car than it is to sell, go negative equity, and then go back to the US. And it's a whole thing. But anyway, I might just have to start decorating anyways, just to put something out there. And it sucks to be October 1st and my house is still organized. It's not supposed to be. Halloween's supposed to be, I've vomited all over the living room and dining room and the foyer and the kitchen.
It's really cool. We got to see behind the scenes. Really cool.
But I have ordered, just a little while ago, I ordered the scrim that I finally figured out what they used in the Haunted Mansion, or a version of anyways, probably not an exact, to do a really cool effect I would love to do this year. If we're here, I really hope we are. I'm really hoping that the movers, when this is all set up and scheduled, will be after Halloween. Like come November 1st. I'm good with that. Come the day after Halloween, which it won't, because it's a Saturday. It's only Monday through Friday. But everything's just really, it's day by day. If I could just get that confirmation that Raph got the job, I could kind of work with that. I would be able to better gauge, okay, when orders will drop. And then once he has orders in hand, then we can start making those phone calls and making the arrangements for all the pickups for like the cars and all of our stuff. But anyway, or I'm just reading too much into it. Maybe I'm just, or I'm just too, I know it's, I will say this: we could be celebrating Thanksgiving this year back home with family.
Yay!
And that's
Make it happen.
that would be absolutely fantastic.
Could be. That's at the soonest. They say this could move as fast as 45 days minimum, getting us back to the States.
45 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, they can do it in 2 weeks. We've done that before.
Oh,
Now that's loads of fun. And that's sarcasm, by the way.
very fast indeed. Well, definitely check out Erica from America and Raph right over there on their YouTube channel. And I suppose keep up to date with what Erica's doing, because there might be some big, profound things on the way. We'll be praying for you, Erica, for sure, to get you back home to the States where you belong. I think that would be pretty cool indeed.
We could break bread with you guys in person. That'd be great.
Yes,
Bread!
And come up to an annual meetup that we tend to have here on the That Park Place crew and so forth. That would be really, really cool. MJ, I want to go ahead and thank you. Lou, thank you. Erica, thank you so much. Nolan, you are the best, my good friend. Thank you so much for everybody for joining me on this amazing show, this amazing panel. You guys make this show, and everybody at home.
Always a pleasure, all of you. And MJ, more often. We love you.
I love you guys. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm happy to be here. Yay!
It's nice to have another Floridian on the panel.
Ooh, she gave it away where I am.
Oh,
No, I'm joking.
you see?
We're getting outnumbered, Vash.
It's
That's
okay.
no good. No good right there. I think you've said it before, but I we should probably keep that on the down low right there.
This is that process somewhere in Sunnyside, USA, right? That's
Right.
That's
Somewhere, Sunnyside, USA. That is correct.
Ponce
Well,
de
very
Leon
good.
has nothing on you.
Indeed.
What was that?
We've got
I said Ponce de Leon has nothing on you.
Ponce de Leon. Yes.
Yeah.
We've got to step aside here, go over to Culture Casino with his.
Good.
Let's see. Let me get this right here. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I want to go ahead and make sure we get that right on, because we got to do the Don. Okay, Donald Trump. We got to do him right. Make America great again. There you go. That's as much DJT as you get from me. Anyway. Let's go ahead and redirect you right now. Thank you, everyone. If you haven't liked the show, please go ahead and hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't. That would help us out tremendously. We're trying to get to 4,000. Please, let's get to 4,000. And, make sure you follow That Pod Place for all the news. That should also be fun. Yep. I guess we should do the music as well, because, I see the hand motions. There you go. Take care, guys.
There we go.
Adios.
And
Cha, cha, cha.